most of you are probably sick of hearing me talk about how, in my opinion, fighters should not be loyal to promoters and networks in boxing. Well, as sick of it as you may be, I'm going to talk about it again in this video because Manny Pacquiao just put this out on Instagram. Pacquiao says, "Congratulations and good luck to Top Rank Boxing and ESPN on your 7-year partnership agreement. I know both of you have been very busy finalizing the deal. However, I have not received the US rights payment for my July 15 fight against Lucas Matisse that was broadcast on ESPN+. Therefore, I am initiating legal proceedings against Top Rank and all other parties based on the non-payment and attempt to restrict my future fights. Thank you." There you have it. I mean, go back a few years, people, when Manny Pacquiao was still on top of the world and was still major box office. You remember all the Manny Pacquiao fanatics, the fanboys, who treated Bob Arum as though Manny Pacquiao was Jesus and Bob Arum was whoever, Moses. You said the slightest thing critical about Bob Arum and these people would be coming for you like a lynch party. Yeah, that's how they be coming for you, to hang you from a tree, to string you up for saying something about Bob Arum that was in any way negative. Bob Arum's great. He doesn't mistreat fighters, and he only mistreated Mayweather. Well, he didn't even mistreat Mayweather. Mayweather mistreated him. This was the way they were carrying on. As though Bob could do no wrong, he could walk on water and all this type of business. Now, I don't know the ins and outs about why Manny Pacquiao has not been paid, but clearly he feels aggrieved. Clearly this relationship between him and Bob Arum has turned sour. So for all these years that Pacquiao's been loyal to Arum, for all these years that all these Pacquiao fanatics have been loyal to Arum and loyal to whatever network Pacquiao was fighting on, who's the donkey now? Who looks foolish now? I always tell people, fighters have no business being loyal to promoters or TV networks or trainers or managers. You have got a very, very small amount of time for most fighters. For Pacquiao, he's had a lot longer to earn life-changing sums of money. But for most fighters, you've got a very, very small window in which you have the opportunity to make life-changing sums of money. So you have got to keep your options open when it comes to what network you fight on, when it comes to which promoter you're with, when it comes to who's training you, because you need to be at your absolute best. You can't allow loyalty to a certain trainer get in the way of you being the best you can possibly be as a fighter. You can't allow loyalty to a certain promoter or a certain manager get in the way of you earning the most you could possibly earn. I recently talked about Kovalev and Kathy Duver and their apparent loyalty to HBO and Kovalev's apparent loyalty to Kathy Duver, when he could have gone and fought Adonis Stevenson potentially on a different network and got more money than he'd ever earned in any other fight, because they were going to put that up a few years ago and let the networks bid for it and see who wanted to pay the most money for it. But Kovalev and Duver were like, no, we ain't doing that. We're loyal to HBO. That's where loyalty gets you. Nowhere. Because now HBO are acting like they don't want to put the Kovalev-Alvarez rematch on. And if they do put it on, they're going to pay, at least, they're not willing to pay Kovalev the amount of money that was stated in the contract for the rematch. Yeah, that's where loyalty gets you. These promoters and these networks, they'll talk loyalty to you and say, oh, fighters need to be loyal. Look what I've done for you, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes time for them to be loyal, you see what happens to you. As soon as you have outlived your usefulness to them, they will cast you aside like a piece of rubbish. That's what happens. There is no room for loyalty in boxing if you're a boxer. Forget about all that. Don't let nobody talk all that loyalty stuff in your ear. Frank Warren was one of the worst for this back in the days. To be fair, Frank Warren don't talk that much about it these days. But a few years ago, Frank Warren was always trying to guilt trip fighters by talking about, oh, there's no loyalty. These fighters are never loyal. Loyal? Are you kidding me? The way promoters treat fighters, ridiculous to expect them to be loyal. Absurd. So here is yet another example, and that's why people need to get off this bandwagon where they act like one promoter or one advisor can walk on water and do no wrong. Get off that. Look where Pacquiao is now in his career. The stuff he's saying about Bob Arum and ESPN. He ain't happy with him. Someone has obviously done someone wrong here. Either Pacquiao's done them wrong or they've done him wrong. I know which I suspect is probably more correct. And, you know, when people talk about paperwork, oh, in the paperwork it said this or in the paperwork it said that. If you are somebody who is well versed in legalese, in the legal language, and, you know, in legal matters in general, if you're well versed in things like that, you can trick people. And so, yes, maybe they should have got a better lawyer who would have explained the contract to them better. But you, the person who put the contract together, you knew that your intention was to try and trick them with what you were putting in the contract. Your intentions were not honorable. Your intentions were not honest in what you put in the contract. So legally, you might be covered. But what kind of mentality do you have putting a contract together in a particular way to try and deceive the fighter? What mentality do you have? Bob Arum comes from a legal background. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't he a lawyer? Wasn't he an attorney? Didn't he go to law school? You've got to be very careful with the contracts you're signing with Bob Arum or with any promoter for that matter. You know, one of the reasons that Eddie Hearn has been so successful in terms of signing fighters, at least in the UK, is because of the fact that he allows certain fighters or several fighters to sign with him on a short-term basis. He's got people like Tony Bellew and Dylan White signed to him on a fight-by-fight basis. So they're not tied down for years and years. If he wants to leave, he can leave. But yet he's still fighting pay-per-view, and he can leave whenever he wants if he feels like Eddie Hearn ain't doing a good job for him. That's an empowered position to be in as a fighter. And I'm not saying there haven't been Bob Arum fighters who have been in that position too. But Eddie Hearn does this apparently consistently with fighters. And again, I don't know Eddie Hearn. I've never met him. I've never taken a penny from him or his company, despite what some of these insane people on the internet would try and claim. Never taken a penny from any boxing promoter in my entire life or any of their companies or anything to do with them. But I know what boxing is like. I know that fighters end up in legal battles with promoters all the time. But I've yet to see a fighter in a legal battle with Eddie Hearn. Maybe when I do, I can calm down on Eddie Hearn as harshly as I've calmed down on other promoters. But you tell me a time when Eddie Hearn has had a legal dispute with a fighter that has ended up in court and the fighter being kept out of the ring for a protracted period of time and it getting all messy. I can't remember a time when that happened. I can remember plenty of times when it happened with Bob Arum. When Mikey Garcia was signed to Bob Arum, he was out the ring for 2 years because of a promotional dispute with Bob Arum. Andre Ward was out of the ring for years because of a promotional dispute with Dan Goosen. Many other fighters have been through similar things. Kubrat Pulev has had a promotional dispute with Sauerland. He's now not with Sauerland. Marco Hook had a promotional dispute with... This is commonplace in boxing. And that's why I tell you again, no place for loyalty in boxing, even as good a job as Eddie Hearn is doing for a lot of his fighters. If they can find another promoter who's willing to pay them more and do an even better job for them, they should have no loyalty to Eddie Hearn at all. Go wherever the money is. Go with whoever's going to pay you even more. If someone comes along, a different network, a different promoter, and says to AJ, look, we can pay you better money, we can do a better job for you, and AJ looks at it and it all checks out and it all seems legit and a great offer, he should do it. To hell with Eddie Hearn. As a fighter, you got to be selfish, man. You're the one risking your life. You're the one taking the punches. You're the one who's only got a finite time to make life-changing sums of money. You don't owe nobody nothing. You pay them out of your purse. Your promoter, your manager, your trainer, they get a cut from your purse. When that money is paid, that's it. You don't owe them nothing else. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Don't act like, oh, God, I have to be loyal to them because of what they've done to me in this position. No. You paid them through your purse, through the money that you gave them from your fight purse. You don't owe them no more than that. Don't let no promoter convince you that you do. Anyway, man, rant over. I like to see fighters empowering themselves. As critical as I've been of the Eubanks following Eubank Jr.'s loss to George Groves, one thing I maintain about the Eubanks and that I support about the Eubanks is they're fiercely independent. They guard and protect and cherish their independence. And I respect that. And I wish more fighters had the ability to be independent like that. Now, they might work with other promoters. Well, they have been working with the World Boxing Super Series, obviously. But then they can go back and promote themselves again. It's all good. You know, I just like it when fighters can cut out the middleman and not have to deal with leeches. So drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about this. Maybe some of you guys have got more information on Manny Pacquiao's situation with regards to Top Rank and ESPN. The fact that he mentioned ESPN implies to me that he is looking to issue legal proceedings against ESPN as well as Top Rank. Because he did say there, he's initiating legal proceedings against Top Rank and all other parties. So I guess that includes ESPN. And that's why people are talking about him fighting on DAZN. You know, and also he says here, attempt to restrict his future fights. Imagine that. The guy who's been Mr. Top Rank, the face of Top Rank for how long, comes to the end, near the end of his career, now they're trying to restrict his future fights. Think about that. That's commonplace in boxing where they're like, no, you ain't fighting. You leave us, you ain't fighting. So many promoters do this, people. So many promoters do this. Sad stuff. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.